Now we basically do a little chariot race ourselves through spring training, and we're going to start in Vieira, hot spots in 2015 in February and March. And why not the Space Center there on the east coast of Florida? And this is a very, very important spring as far as I'm concerned, as far as the Nationals are concerned. Pressure, bullseye on their back, hangover, here comes Max Scherzer. It's about time the Nationals get something done as far as postseason is concerned. And this is what the Nationals are going to have to deal with here. And this is really the first time they've had to deal with it, something the Red Sox deal with, the Yankees deal with. Obviously, the Dodgers have been dealing with it as of late, the last couple of years. When you have a big payroll and you have a team that is supposedly the marked team in baseball, you're going to hear a lot of questions about October. You're going to hear questions about October in February. And that gets very wearing on a ball club because the expectation level increases and nobody really cares about what the Nats do on May 15th in Florida on a road trip. What they care, and when the Nats season kind of begins, is October 1st. And that mindset is a very tricky mindset for a franchise to have to deal with. Yankees deal with it all the time. It's almost like you're playing 162 exhibition schedule to get to October, and that's what Matt Williams and company are going to have to deal with here. Throw in the fact they have not been good in the postseason with their 2 series losses to the Cardinals, which they should have won, losing in 5. Giants didn't do a good job, lost in 4. And then they bring Scherzer into the mix, making big money, new league, pressure on him. Let's see how he handles that. Zimmerman's free agent status. Let's see how he handles that. They lose LaRoche. I don't know the dynamics of that clubhouse well enough to know what that might mean, but LaRoche is a quiet guy, gets the job done. They got to move Zimmerman to third base. That's an issue. Harper Caravan is an issue. Matt Williams' pitching changes are an issue. There are issues for Washington as we embark here on spring training. And I think there's 2 that go really hand in hand. Hangover from last October to San Francisco, and expectation level where the season doesn't begin until October 1st this year. That's going to be an interesting mindset for that franchise. And they can say it doesn't matter. That, folks, if the Nationals win 110 games and lose in the first round, that is all people are going to remember. And you have to deal with that if you're that franchise. Be interesting to see if they can do that. That's hot spot number 1. Hot spot number 2 is down in Fort Myers on the west coast of Florida. A lot of rumors that the Nationals are going to play there one of these years and maybe go in a refurbished ballpark. But anyway, the Red Sox at JetBlue, we see how they handle it here. Now, it sounds like Pablo Sandoval is a balloon as far as weight is concerned. I haven't seen it. That's what Bruce Shine said. And, you know, he hits better when he's heavy anyway. I'm not that worried about that. I am worried about Ramirez out in left field because he can talk about all the fly balls he wants to take with the caroms. I don't like that scenario at all with him playing defense in a new spot out in left field. He's going to hate that. I think that's something to keep an eye on. All these excess outfielders are something to keep an eye on. I think Craig, Victorino have contracts. See how they handle 6 and 3. Dodgers had a lot of issues with that last year in L.A. when they had Ethier, obviously not getting a chance to play. How is that going to work out in Boston? We keep an eye on that. And finally, with the Red Sox, we know they're going to bounce back. That could be a last-place team. They're going to score more runs. I get that. But the Red Sox pitching staff, I do not like. Masterson, they gave him $9 million. They're hoping for a rebirth. We see. Wade Miley from Arizona, they gave him a lot of money. He's a lefty in that ballpark with the short left field fence. We will see. Porcello, a free agent to be. Never liked him in big pressure spots. Now he's in Boston. We will see. I don't like Buchholz. It's been a long time since he had that good season. The Red Sox starting rotation does not fit the design of the team. They want to play baseball in October. The fan base only cares. They're spoiled about baseball in October. They've won the 3 championships coming off a last place year. So there'll be a little juice as far as regular season is concerned. But the Red Sox season is going to be in October too. And where is their ace? Do they get Cole Hamels? Do they make a run at Cliff Lee? I don't like their pitching from that standpoint at all to being a big-time baseball team in the American League East. So we keep an eye on Boston. We go now to the West Coast. And, of course, we go to Arizona, not the West Coast. We go to Arizona, we go to the desert, we go to Glendale, and see how the Dodgers handle it as far as that beautiful facility is concerned in spring training in Arizona. White Sox are in the same facility. We've done a lot on the White Sox. We're going to spend some time on that as the spring training moves along. The Dodgers now have an issue with Jansen, hurt his foot, the closer. He's going to be out 8 to 12 weeks. That's an issue they didn't want to have to deal with. But the Dodgers are a new team. They got a new front office. The front office did not hire the manager. Keep an eye on that, the relationship. Nothing's going to happen in Mattingly for a while, but it's something down the road. If they struggle, we see what Andrew Friedman wants to do. They got piles of money. They got a new infield. Obviously, a new shortstop in Rollins. Kendrick, a new second baseman. We have that scenario. Puig, who their hitting coach McGuire says is going to win 1 million MVPs. He doesn't play Game 5s and Game 6s and Game 4s of postseasons, but all of a sudden McGuire says he's an MVP candidate. I got to see it. I got to see him play baseball for 155, 160 games where he has great consistency and, great production second half of the year. He has not been able to do that so far in his career. You keep an eye on that. Crawford and Ethier, you keep an eye on that. Young outfielder in Peterson, we keep an eye on that. I don't love him necessarily at third base. Grandal at catch, keep an eye on that. Their starting rotation, 4 or 5, you keep an eye on that. And then you have Adrian Gonzalez coming out here this week basically saying we need to function as a team better. We have not been a team. We've been a sort of an assortment of parts. Great parts, but not a team. Look at the Giants. Now, the problem I have with Gonzalez's comments about that, if obviously Kershaw had pitched better in Game 1 against the Cardinals, or better in Game 4 against the Cardinals, or last year, 2 years ago, better in Game 6 against the Cardinals, nobody would be talking about the function of a team because they would have won both those series, and then we would have looked at the Dodgers a little differently. The Dodger issue in the postseason has been their bullpen and been Kershaw. That's got nothing to do who's playing shortstop. And Gonzalez missed the point there, but he had something to say, so we see how that develops. The Dodgers will be interesting as far as spring training is concerned. A lot of expectations as usual. Team of the North, despite what Puig says who their rival is, has won 3 championships. We see about LA, that's number 3. Number 4, we go to Peoria, not too far away. The Mariners and the Padres both train there. We're going to get to Seattle as the season moves along and spring training moves along. But San Diego, obviously the winners of the offseason with the White Sox. Bud Black last year of his contract, obviously a new outfield. We see how the Padres handle expectations. They've sold a ton of tickets in Southern California. Beautiful ballpark. Kemp happy to be there. A little chip on his shoulder. Upton playing for a contract. We see who's going to be their center fielder. Left side of the infield, we wonder. Obviously their starting rotation's pretty good, but you wonder about San Diego and where they're going to be here because they got a lot of strengths, but they do have some weaknesses. I don't like short and third. I'm not in love with Norris catching. I got to see the right side of the infield play good baseball. I don't love Benoit as their closer. I love Bud Black. We see how he puts this team together. A lot of new faces, a lot of expectations for a franchise that never has any. Let's see how San Diego handles it as far as spring training is concerned and the season embarks. That is hot spot number 4. And then finally, hot spot number 5 are the Cubs. Joe Madden is there in Mesa. We see how the big contract and what Joe says. They're going to gobble up all the wonderful chatter from Madden during spring training. He's going to have a lot to say, going to be very enthusiastic. Cub writers are going to love that. Cub fans are going to love that. It's about time somebody puts a little onus on your team. He's going to say, why wait? Why can't it be us this year? Why can't we be a playoff team? That's all going to come out of Joe's mouth here in 2015, February and March in Mesa. How the Cubs handle that's going to be interesting. Bryant at third base, does he make the team? What's going on with Baez? Can he not strike out a billion times? Castro bounce back at shortstop, we see. How about Solar? How about Lester with the expectations of a big contract? Do they have enough 3, 4, 5 in a rotation? How about the bullpen? How does Madden put all this together? What are the Chicago expectations? You get the idea that Epstein says, let's be competitive and obviously win 82, 83 games. That's the Vegas number, by the way, 81.5, and we'll be okay. Madden's going to want to push further than that. How the Cubs handle it with no bleachers into May will be interesting. Cubs in Mesa, Padres in Peoria, Dodgers in Glendale, Red Sox at JetBlue in Fort Myers, Nationals in Vieira. Those are your 5 spots we keep an eye on as far as spring training is concerned this week as it opens up.